Hey y'all, we are looking now at lesson 6.4, multiplying polynomials. So yesterday we looked at adding and subtracting. Now we're going to look at multiplying them. So to multiply, we're going to need to be able to distribute the first term to the second, parentheses, and we're also maybe potentially going to have to distribute a second or a third term to the second parentheses. So distribution is going to be the key here. And then we're going to be able to combine like terms and then rewrite in standard form if needed. Remember, standard form is just in order from highest degree to lowest degree. So biggest exponent to smallest exponent. Let's refresh our memories on what it means to distribute. Distributing, look for parentheses, and it means to multiply. That is what it means when you see parentheses here. For example, we have 2 parentheses x plus 7. That means we need to multiply 2 times x and 2 times 7, like I have shown written out right here. Now, you don't have to write it out like that. You just have to know that's what we're doing. We're multiplying 2 times x to get 2x, and then 2 times 7, a positive 7, to get 14. So our simplified answer is 2x plus 14. Reminder, when you are multiplying coefficients, 4 times 1, it's 4. Right? And when you are multiplying variables, an x times an x, think of your exponent rules. When you multiply, we have x's here, your exponents are 1, you add the exponents. So an x times an x is going to be x squared. Right? This is a key one to remember. Okay, honestly, is anytime you're going to see a lot of times where you'll have x times an x. So this example, 4x times x, we multiply coefficients together and think of that imaginary 1 right inside there. That's why we had 4 times 1. And then think x times x. Let's keep that in purple. So when multiplying, you multiply coefficients times each other and variables times each other, just like we just did with exponent rules. So 4x times x is 4x squared. One other quick example, if you had 2x times negative 3x. Again, you'll multiply the numbers, the coefficients together. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And the letters then together, x times x is x squared. Let's look at some really quick examples for just practicing distribution. 5 times x minus 4. Remember, we're going to do 5 times x and then 5 times negative 4. Don't forget that it's a negative 4 there. So 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 4, negative 20. Ooh, negative outside the parentheses. It's like a negative 1. We can add a 1 there if we want to. And we're going to distribute, multiply by negative 1. Negative 1 times d is a negative 1d, or just negative d. And a negative 1 times 7, a positive 7, is now negative 7. So either of those two answers are correct. And example number 3, 4 times 3c minus 9. So 4 times 3c is 12c. 4 times negative 9, negative 36. Don't forget to look out for signs there. Example number 4 is going to be a perfect example. We have outside the parentheses negative 3x times 2x plus 5. So we're going to take this entire negative 3x and multiply it times 2x and then multiply times 5. Here we need to think when multiplying, we have to do coefficient times coefficient, variable times variable. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. X times x is x squared. So negative 6x squared. And then negative 3x times 5. We still multiply coefficients times coefficient, except for this is a constant. Numbers can only be multiplied by numbers. So negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. And since there is an x, we keep an x there, but it's not going to be squared. Okay, it's just like we have 5 negative 3x's. So that is how this one looks. This is another important one maybe to kind of keep track of and use as an example. Let's talk about now when we have 2 terms inside the parentheses, like 2x plus 4 times 3x minus 7. This is known as double distribution. We're going to distribute twice. We're going to distribute by the first term and then by the second term. It could also be known as the FOIL method, which is taking multiplying the first 2 terms, multiplying the outside 2 terms, multiplying the inside 2 terms, and then multiplying the last 2 terms. Okay, also known as double distribution, and we can also do something called the box method. So I'm going to kind of show you that in just a second. So here's basically what it is. We're going to take the first term in our parentheses here, this 2x, and we're going to multiply it by everything in the second parentheses. So I'm going to take 2x and I'm going to multiply it times 3x minus 7. And after I do that, I'm going to then multiply my second term, this positive 4, times everything in the second parentheses. So still 3x minus 7. And I'm doing distribution now. So I'm going to do 2x times 3x, and then 2x times negative 7. And then I'll do 4 times 3x, and 4 times negative 7. So I show 2x times 3x, plus 2x times negative 7, plus 4 times 3x, plus 4 times negative 7. I'm actually going to multiply those things now. 6x squared minus 14x plus 12x minus 28. Now here's the fun part of combining like terms. We have some x's together to combine in the middle. 6x squared minus 2x minus 28. I prefer to use something called FOIL, in my opinion, which is just when you take these sets of parentheses and like I said, you multiply the first 2 terms, the outside 2 terms, the inside 2 terms, and then the last 2 terms. And you just think, hey, I'm multiplying those together. It's going to get you the same answer. Let's try a couple of practices, and then I'm going to have you try one yourself. So x plus 5 times x plus 3. Let's think x times x, which is x squared, and then x times 3, which is 3x. 5 times x, that's the insides now, which is 5x, and 5 times 3, which is 15. Combine my 2 sets of x's here. X squared plus 8x plus 15. I am making sure that my answer is in standard form, x squared, then to x, and then to the constant. That is the correct form. Here in example number 2, I'm going to show you another way called the box method. If you've learned about Punnett squares, you might have seen this. So just make a box, and you're going to make basically a square for every term. So 2 minus m, and then m plus 11. And then you're just going to multiply to fill in the boxes here. So 2 times m, 2m, negative m times m, negative m squared. 2 times 11, 22, positive 22. And 11 times negative m is negative 11m. Still going to combine like terms. I have like terms here. I have 2 sets of m's that we are going to combine. Writing in standard form, so my squared first, negative m squared, minus 9m, and then plus my constant 22. Here's what I want you to do on this last one. It is a little bit trickier because there are c's here kind of at the beginning. Use either one of these 2 methods. So either use kind of the FOIL or the double distribution or the box method. See if you can answer example number 7 and come up and show it to a teacher when you're done to get your work checked. And as always, let your teacher know if you have any questions.